Picture this scenario. A woman named Kate is driving along the interstate on a particularly dark evening when suddenly her fuel gauge drops to 0. The engine starts sputtering, losing power rapidly, and she barely manages to steer her vehicle onto the shoulder. She's stranded in what locals know as one of the roughest neighborhoods in the area. Making matters worse, she's completely broke, not a single dollar in her wallet for gas. She sits there in her dead car, genuinely terrified, frantically trying to figure out what she's going to do. That's when a homeless gentleman notices her distressing situation. For the purpose of this story, we'll refer to him as Beardy. This man, who clearly has been living rough for quite some time, approaches her window cautiously. Despite the fact that Beardy is literally surviving on the streets with virtually nothing to his name, he reaches into his tattered jacket pocket and pulls out a crumpled $20 bill, genuinely the last money he possesses in the world. He insists on using it to purchase enough fuel for her to reach home safely, refusing to take no for an answer. Kate eventually arrives home without further incident and immediately shares this remarkable encounter with her boyfriend, Mark. She can't stop talking about this homeless man's incredible generosity. The following morning, Kate and Mark drive back to that exact location, determined to find their Good Samaritan. When they successfully locate Beardy, they show their appreciation by providing him with hot food and fresh clothing, a small gesture compared to what he'd done, but meaningful nonetheless. But then, Kate and Mark's minds begin racing with bigger possibility. They develop what seems a brilliant, compassionate plan, a plan that would ultimately change everyone's life in ways they never. They decide to launch a GoFundMe campaign dedicated to Beardy with an ambitious goal: raise sufficient funds to establish a proper trust fund, and finally, provide this selfless individual with permanent housing stability. On the crowdfunding page, they carefully craft this touching narrative about how Beardy, despite having absolutely nothing, sacrificed his final $20 to rescue a complete stranger and desperate. The story is written beautifully, emphasizing every emotion, designed to resonate with anyone who reads it. Local news stations quickly pick up this heartwarming tale of humankind. The story begins spreading like wildfire across social media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, everywhere. Their GoFundMe page practically explodes overnight. The public response overwhelming. People are deeply moved, profoundly inspired, and donations begin flooding in extraordinary. Before anyone can fully comprehend what's happening, Kate, Mark, and Beardy find themselves in spotlight. They're appearing on morning talk show, evening news segment, radio interview, podcast. Every media outlet wants a piece of this beautiful story. The donation counter climbs relentlessly, first breaking 10,000, then 20,000, then somehow surpassing 100,000, and ultimately reaching an absolutely mind-blowing $400,000. Kate and Mark make a significant purchase, a fully equipped recreational vehicle for Beardy to call home. They position it right on their own property, ensuring he'll have a safe, permanent place to live with people who care about him nearby. The media declares this the most uplifting story of the year, proof that human kindness still exists, that good deeds get rewarded, that community can come together to change lives. Several months pass. Life seems to have settled into a new normal. Then, one ordinary afternoon, an investigative journalist at a local television station receives an anonymous tip that changes everything. The informant claims something shocking. Beardy has been spotted back on the streets, sleeping under highway overpass, begging for change. The reporter immediately launches an investigation. She tracks Beardy down for an exclusive interview and confronts him with the obvious question: what happened to all that GoFundMe money? $400,000 raised specifically for you. Beardy's response sends shockwaves through the community. I never actually received most of it. Within hours of this interview airing, several prominent attorneys throughout the region see the broadcast and immediately offer their services pro bono. They want to help Beardy uncover the truth about what happened to those donations, meant to transform his life. Beardy decides to go completely public with detailed allegations. He states on record that Kate and Mark only provided him with approximately $75,000. The remaining $325,000? He claims they've been spending it on themselves. A brand new BMW straight from the luxury dealership, first-class flights to tropical destinations, designer handbags costing thousands each, weekend gambling sprees at high-roller casinos. The public instantly believes Beardy's version of events, particularly because Kate and Mark had been documenting their suddenly lavish lifestyle all over social media. Their Instagram feeds told the story: champagne toasts in Vegas penthouse suites, gourmet dinners at exclusive Los Angeles restaurants, scenic helicopter tours over the Grand Canyon, shopping sprees at luxury boutiques. The transformation in their lifestyle was impossible to ignore. Beardy's legal team files a comprehensive civil lawsuit against the couple, demanding immediate return of the remaining funds. Kate and Mark witness this legal filing and instantly shift into crisis management mode. They embark on an emergency media tour, desperately attempting to convince everyone that this is all a terrible misunderstanding. When reporters ask point blank, "Have you spent even $1 of that $400,000 on personal expenses?" they look directly into cameras and emphatically declare, "Absolutely not. Not one." After conducting exhaustive forensic accounting, Beardy's attorney emerges with a press conference that stuns everyone. His investigation reveals something almost unbelievable. The entire $400,000 has completely vanished. Every cent is gone. This revelation triggers immediate action from the county prosecutor's office. They're no longer dealing with a civil dispute. This is major criminal fraud. Police investigators secure comprehensive search warrants for Kate and Mark's residence. They seize laptops, smartphones, tablets, external hard drives, any device potentially containing evidence. Rather than standing together against the allegations, Kate and Mark immediately turn on each other. Kate makes a calculated decision. She begins secretly recording Mark, hoping to gather evidence that places all blame squarely on him. But these clandestine recordings backfire catastrophically. In one recording, Mark unknowingly provides what amounts to a full confession. "You want a breakdown of expenses? $20,000 for the BMW, $5,000 at Disney World, $10,000 just on designer bag, $15,000 in Vegas. Should I continue?" While this drama unfolds, police technicians meticulously examine every file on the confiscated devices. They discover something extraordinary. Text messages from months earlier, shortly after Kate and Mark's first encounter with Beardy. Kate had messaged a close friend with an explicit admission. The entire story was fabricated. Yes, Beardy was real and genuinely homeless, but that beautiful narrative about him giving away his last $20 to help a stranded stranger? Complete fiction. Total fabrication. They had deliberately manufactured this emotional tale specifically to manipulate charitable hearts and maximize donations. Since the foundational story was entirely fraudulent, it reveals something crucial. Beardy had to be a willing participant from the beginning. This wasn't a case of two people stealing from an innocent homeless man. All three were co-conspirators in an elaborate fraud scheme. Law enforcement arrests all three individuals simultaneously. Their mugshots tell the story of a scam that fooled an entire nation. The judges' sentences reflect the severity of their crime. Kate receives 3 years in state prison. Mark gets 5 years behind bars. Beardy, perhaps due to cooperation or his circumstances, receives 3 years of supervised probation. Additionally, the court orders all three to pay substantial restitution to the defrauded donors, though most know that money is long gone. This incredible true story from Philadelphia and New Jersey serves as a powerful cautionary tale. It reminds us that in our digital age, where stories can go viral in hours and donations can pour in with a click, we must balance our charitable instinct with healthy skepticism. Sometimes, the most heartwarming narratives, the ones that restore our faith in humanity, are actually carefully crafted deception designed to exploit our best impulses. When something seems too perfect, too inspiring, too tailor-made for social media sharing, maybe it's worth asking a few more questions. Because behind every viral fundraiser could be people more interested in funding themselves than helping anyone else.